What's up, everybody? It's Brandon. Did you miss me? I'm back. In case you did not know, because I did say this on last week's episode, but just in case somebody missed it, it'll be the last time I explain it. We are now doing Top 5 Thursdays every other week. So instead of you putting in your suggestion and box office banner movies, join that group if you haven't already, people. There's giveaways and all types of other cool stuff in there. And you can also not even be a fan of our podcast. You might have stumbled upon this and you're like, you know what? I don't like this guy. But guess what? I do like movie groups. Well, we got that for you too. You're not forced into loving us. You might dislike a movie group. So join that as well. Or if you like us, even better, and you get the movie stuff. So yeah. But on there, I make a post every Monday, usually Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays, or if I'm really lazy, Wednesdays. I'm basically ask, hey everybody, give me your top 5 Thursday suggestions. And then on that Thursday, I will be like, oh, top 5 basketball movies. Oh, top 5 football movies. I want to do this person. I'll give that person a shout out, and then I'll do their top 5. Well, now what we're doing is we're going to give the suggestion, and then the following week, we're going to do the video to give me a break, because I'm sorry, people. I really am busy. As much content as we put out, I hope you enjoy it, but it will help me just a decent bit. But there's also the benefit of if Rodney, Tyler, or Josh want to do it, since we record on Fridays, I have the option of recording it with everybody and make it maybe even a longer video, maybe even a shorter video, maybe we have quicker thoughts, but we get everybody's thoughts amongst the whole Banter team instead of just me. Now you're seeing me alone this week because they didn't want to do those top 5s, or maybe it got late, but there was potential for everybody to be in the video. It spices things up, it gives more variety, so you will be getting these the week after every single time you post a top 5 Thursday. It'll be the following week when you get it. So without further ado, this was a last second one. I was torn on 2 people that had, I'm not going to say who they are because I don't want them to get their hopes up. They're like, fuck, they almost picked mine. Or he almost picked mine, whichever one. But I was torn. And at the last second, literally, I think it was last night, Andrew Welsh, moderator, he was like, man, what are your top 5 final girls? I was like, dude, put it on the top 5 suggestions post. And then when he put it over there on the suggestion post, I was originally kind of joking. I was like, you know what? The other 2 were great. I was torn on them. But this last second, you know, it's like when you're in a long relationship and that new bit of eye candy's over here, you got to focus on this. But every once in a while, you're like, damn, that looks good. Or like if you've been on your diet too long and you're like, God, that cheeseburger looks good. At the end of the day, I had to choose the cheeseburger here, which is top 5 final girls because I'm a horror fanatic. I had to do it. So, without further ado, after that long wind-up, top 5 final girls, people. And I will say this much as a disclaimer. There's 2 that could have very well been on here, but I'm going to leave them off because on another top 5 I did, I believe for Derek Ronk, I did underappreciated final girls. And I had Jessie from Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, that does count as a final girl. And of course, I also had Chris from Friday the 13th, Part 3. But without further ado, let's jump into this. My number 5 is going to be Dee Wallace. And what specific movie? Because she is a horror queen. It is going to be Dee Wallace from Cujo. Yes, of all movies, Cujo. Now, you might think prototypical final girl slasher movie, but Cujo is a downright scary movie if you happen to not know somehow, about a dog that's rabid and is trying to kill this mom and son. And if you read the book, the son has a more dramatic fate as the son actually passes away. So when you're going in the movie, you're thinking like the book, and you're like, this kid is probably going to die in this movie. And this mom is doing anything and everything to stop her. And also, Dee Wallace, as much shine as she gets, she doesn't quite get enough at the same time. And why would I not throw her on a list if I had the chance to, especially if it was up in the air with a few other people? At the end of the day, I was like, let's give Dee Wallace some fucking love here, because she doesn't get mentioned with the top final girls, and this is the type of role I think that definitely would warrant it. Dee Wallace is great here. And there's some people who be like, well, yeah, she's a dirty slut, she was cheating on the husband and all that. I get that. Yeah, kind of fucked up that she's cheating. I know I made the analogy earlier about cheating. I don't condone cheating. It was just a fucking analogy, you gutterheads. But the thing is about Dee Wallace, even though she cheated in this movie, part of me enjoys that, because they always make the final girl so perfect. Not because, you know, I'm like, oh, cheating, but because, you know, it makes her seem human. Like, she does make mistakes. She does do all this. But at the end of the day, when her back's against the wall and she's got to fight to save her kid, she is there. And the emotions she portrays, and then at the end just saying, fuck it, come on, with the dog. It is very special. D. Wallace and Cujo is going to have to deserve some love. Now, what are we doing at number 4? I don't have this wrote out exactly. I'm going to go on the fly, and I'm going to say Helen Lyle from Candyman. Helen. In that parking garage, dude, come on. And it is a shame we have not got a worthy sequel or remake as far as I'm concerned, or sequel, whatever you consider the newest one. I believe it is a sequel, actually. But some people, refer to it as a remake. Not to confuse other people, but you get what I'm trying to say. That new one. For me, I didn't even like that one. So it's been really tough sledding being such a big fan of the original. And Helen Lyle is a big reason for that. Her and the original Candyman, there was something about her that was just so, pure. And maybe it was the eyes when she would get lost in that trance. You just really, almost went into her soul. And you cared about her with her deadbeat shit husband, who was also a fucking cheater. Jesus. And watching her go full circle, trying to unravel this mystery, and really, identifying with someone who is completely innocent, but you're watching her and you're just you're grabbing on even tighter to her, because not only is she beautiful and stunning to look at, and you're already hurt because of the situation, you're already clinging on to her, and you're like, God, what a terrible situation. That's why we like these final girls so much. You cling to her even harder because she's getting accused of all these horrible things, and you're sitting there like, she's innocent, and her personal life sucks too, and now she's getting blamed for the only person that maybe ever cared about her fucking friend. You almost want to go off for her. I think she is a very recommendable, likable final girl that needs to be on this list. Candyman is a motherfucking classic. And maybe, if she would have continued. I know she was in Candyman 2021, we'll just call it that. But it was short-lived. It was kind of oh, cool. We saw, what the hell's her name? No, at any other time. The actress name. The girl that plays Helen Lyle. Yeah, well, it was cool as fan service to see her for a second, but for her to be able to continue that character could have been cool. But of course, we know how it ends with her making, the ultimate sacrifice yet again. And maybe it would have even been cool if we, on paper, should we have went the route with Candyman where she ended up, killing her husband at the end and now she's the urban legend? I would say no. But then again, if you would have told me that the rest of the following movies would be this bad, I might go back and say yes. But we don't know the future, people. So maybe it wouldn't have been a bad idea. I would say it would be, but then again, seeing what we've got, maybe. Yeah. Helen Lyle at number 4. At number 3. Now, if it was a toss-up and it was a more popular girl, I'll just say one that hurts that it's not on here. Heather Langenkamp. Amazing. One of my favorites, but toss up, and she's always on a bunch of lists. I left her off, but I had to at least have, one or two really popular ones that I couldn't leave off. And we're going to do Ellen Ripley from Alien. Now, I know Alien isn't your prototypical fucking slasher villain, but she's a fucking final girl. She's the final girl, and she's taking on this fucking alien, and she's whooping ass doing it. And how cool is it, in the first movie, you're kind of just who's Ellen Ripley? You don't even know she's a main star, but her character development, the way she develops and develops and develops and develops to the point you're just oh my God, this girl isn't just a survivor. She's a complete fucking badass. Ellen Ripley is not to be fucked with. Sigourney Weaver owns that character. When you think final girl, when you think of a girl that's badass in horror movies, she pops in your head almost immediately. That alone gets you on this list. Love some Ellen Ripley, and love me some Sigourney Weaver. Jesus. At number 2, we're going to go with Sidney Prescott. Yes, I said there'd be 1 or 2. The answer is there is 2 on this list. Sidney Prescott. Now, I'll say this much. I'm not a huge fan of Sidney Prescott in Scream 4, or spoiler alert. Not really a spoiler alert, but yeah, 5, if you didn't know she's in that. Spoiler alert in terms of if I liked her in it or not. I was not a big fan of her. Much like 4, quick review on Scream, and I mean absolutely quick. 4 and 5, they both kind of felt do we need her here? She kind of felt like she was going through the motions. But 1 through 3 in Scream, that version of Sidney Prescott just owns it, man. And she was one of the first girls that it just felt like she gave no fucks. A lot of the other final girls back in the day, they were just either likable, or maybe a few here and there would fight back to that degree, but I feel like they had to be pushed. There's something about Sydney that it felt like it was legitimately just down inside of her. Like she legitimately had that in her. She was that legitimate person that seems nice, but if you did push her, she was ready to go. Like she was really about that fucking life. Like you didn't want to fuck with this kid. It wasn't just you put a knife to my throat, now I'm gonna kill you. It's you put a knife in my throat and it's like, nah, you done fucked up, dude. Like I'm ready to go. Always ready to go. And I love that about Sydney. Of course, she fits the model of it perfectly because there is a degree of vulnerability to her. There is a degree of like emotions towards her. You feel bad for her and her story with Maureen Prescott and all that. And you know, and you grow to feel even worse for her. Fucking, you know, spoiler alert to the first Scream. I'm sure you've seen that by now. Skeet Ulrich, like her boyfriend, like there's all those emotions, plus she's a badass, plus she's got the look, the vulnerability. She's the perfect final girl. At number 2, Sidney Prescott. And number 1 is going to be, I just went ahead and did Drew a solid. He said it's your favorite final girl, and I always talk about her like she is, so I might as well. I'm going to say Florence Pugh Danny from Midsommar. Now, you could call her a final girl, but it also might be cheating, and I also don't give a shit. It's my list. No. She kind of is and kind of isn't. You know, she ended up becoming the May Queen, so she wasn't really necessarily somebody that was going to die. But watching this movie, she played the role of somebody that was in a group of people, and people were getting taken out, picked apart one by one, and she was the final person, let alone girl, standing. And she stood beautiful as the May Queen. So I'm going to cheat a little bit on that one. Maybe it doesn't fit the criteria, but at the same time, final girl in a movie, which she was, from a group, and how much I care about a person. There's something about Florence Pugh. I'd seen her a couple other times in passing. I didn't really get into like a lot of her work. When I saw Midsommar, dude, anybody that's close to me knows that. I thought crushes were done for me, dude. Legit, I thought that was like a high school thing. I was like, am I crushing on this chick? Like if I wasn't married and like I like worked with her or something, I'd just be like, hey, how you doing? Like I'd be like a geek around her. But I think the thing is with Florence Pugh is like, she is hot as hell. Let's not make no mistakes there. That's a big reason why I'm attracted to her. But she also has this like pureness and this girl next door type of vibe. Like she's not only hot as hell, but she doesn't look like movie star hot as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my Lord Almighty. What the fuck? Megan Fox. Why was I blanking on that? You know, like that. Does that girl even exist? She was made in a lab. Florence Pugh has like the, oh my God, she's so hot, and she looks like girl next door, and I don't even know if she realizes how beautiful she is. Guys know what I'm talking about. Has a pureness to her, the fucking emotion where she just lost everything, and she's got this shitty boyfriend, and you're looking like, God, I could be that guy. Are you kidding me? Take care of her. Like, you almost just want to hug her. Like, she's got all those things that just send everything in me, like, to the point where I'm just like, dude, like, I feel like a fucking girl crushing on, like, you know, like, oh my God, Team Edward. Oh my God, Team Jacob. You know, like, guys don't do shit like that. But that's how I felt. I was like, oh my God, Team Florence. Like, I was all about her. Like, I cared about her almost like it was a person I knew in real life. And I, like, there's moments when I watch that movie, I'm like, you don't talk to her like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's a character in a movie. There's something about Florence Pugh in Midsommar that resonates with me in ways I can't explain. And a lot of it is the heartbreak that Ari Aster puts into his movies. Now, last movie, maybe I couldn't get on board with that because, of course, it was, again, blank on the spot, know the actor's name any other time. You know, it was a dude. I'm not a homosexual. You are? That's fine. I'm not. So I did not get on board with that. But maybe this is just Ari Aster. He creates such a level of realness so where it feels like real people. Checks off the list where I feel like Florence Pugh is like your average Joe that was really pretty rather than Hollywood star. And he also checks off the list of just absolute pain in movies and people that can display absolute pain. Alex Wolff is the guy I was talking about from Hereditary, just popped in my head. So those little things really equate to me feeling emotion towards that lead, I guess you could say. So I'm curious. Maybe Aster comes out with another movie and it's another, chick, and I'm like, I think I'm in love with her too. It's something about Aster, dude. Damn, this dude just makes me fall in love with his leads. I go back and watch fucking Alex Wolff and Hereditary. Like, am I gay now? I don't know, man. There's just something about it, dude. There really is. It's magical to me, her performance and that movie in general. Watching like the craziness that it was when it ended, but also just to the point I cared about her so much. I'm just like, I'm just happy to see a real fucking smile from this girl, and you go, girl. Like, that's the type of vibe I was on. Anyways, guys, that is my top 5 final girls. I hope you weren't like, that's the final girl at the end. Don't do all that. Don't do that. It's my list. I explained how I could slant it a little bit. Let me know what y'all think, though, and let me know your top 5 final girls. Peace, guys. Love y'all.